cosmos! You are nothing!
What's this? A real challenge? You finally caught my attention.
Die. Why run? What's the point? This circle is doomed! Everlasting fire! Die.
Hello and welcome, Exiles, to the third update to the Righteous Fire Ivory Tower Ascendant. Today we've come with 10,000 more energy shield than last time, thanks to 4 significant upgrades and a couple levels. So, 4 upgrades that are very significant that we changed and monumentally increased our energy shield while maintaining our damage. Upgrade number 1 is the belt. This belt requires us to craft with essences of spite until we hit strength, and then annul whatever extra suffix we have, and then slam with a Hunter Exalt onto suffixes. It's about roughly a 1 in 7.5 to hit T1% attributes. So that's how we get the suffixes, and then after which we do a suffixes can't be changed via Wild Bristle Matron, and Reforge Influence on Harvest with a 1 in 5 rough chance to get 10% or like the T1% life. That's how we craft this belt, after which we block mana and we slam, and we're hoping either for ES or life, and if you get one, you then benchcraft the other, and that's the belt craft. This is significantly better than our old belt because 1, it gets us roughly about the same strength because we get flat strength from our abyssal socket while giving us 14% int more than we had last time. That's a significant upgrade. The other significant upgrade is percent life. We wouldn't be able to get that on a synth belt unless we had a really GG synth implicit, and that's just quite frankly out of our price range. So percent life, that helps increase our ES. The percent int helps increase our ES, and then on top of all of that, I didn't really have a good crafted belt, so we have more life and more ES than we did on our previous belt in terms of flat, and all that adds up to this belt representing what roughly was a 3,000 to 3,300 ES upgrade from our previous belt. That was roughly the change that was seen when I swapped the belts. On top of that, we also made an upgrade on our Dune. Dune is good, and it's nice to try to get an okay tree going, which is what we had, which is 10% increased strength, but now we really wanted to go for a perfect tree, because what does a perfect tree represent? Well, it gets us 4% increased attributes, it gets us a keystone, which saves us a passive, and a passive is a big deal. When your passives represent something close to 1,000 ES, like if I unspec this right now, that would be without Eternal Youth. Eternal Youth represents a 500 ES upgrade, and it probably, if we take the time to reserve a bit more life, we could probably hit another break point in terms of how much that life is giving us, because we get more flat ES out of Ivory Tower. That being said, we also upgraded the 4% strength and int node to a 6% strength and int node. Altogether, this was I think it was roughly around a 2,000 to 3,000 ES upgrade over our previous Dune. We got very lucky in the chance process, and I was dreading chancing it, and I'm thankful that I got the miracle of chancing it luckily and not just sitting there and going mind numb throwing chance orbs at a Dune. That was upgrade number 2. Upgrade number 3. We changed our passive tree to add in good large passives. These are hard to craft. Basically, you have to fracture 4 all stat, 8 strength, 10 life, or 35% effect. Fracture one of those nodes, and then pretty much after that, I like to do a Reforge Life on Harvest if life is one of the mods I don't have, or do something like Fundamental plus Pristine Fossils if you have a 35% effect, and that's what I did on this one here. And then after which, we then trade a lot of the pathing we had where we were going around here and then up this way to then instead go around this way and around and drop Templar, and we invest those passives into all these small passives here. Now, all in all, this gives us a slight strength upgrade. We went from about 3,400 to close to 3,600, so 200 strength there, which is nice. But the most important change, this fundamentally gives us percent damage we didn't have before. As you can see here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 nodes, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 nodes. So we have 16 nodes that have about 15% damage, which is roughly like close to 300 to 400% damage. Previously, throughout my tree, I had maybe 100% increased damage. So this is like a 200% increased damage jump, and it's a nice jump in our DPS scaling. So mostly at the DPS scaling, but not only is it a DPS scaling, it also scales our HP farther than before because we picked up 2 extra jewel sockets, and I chose to put those into specifically Pathfinder. Now, you can do Occultist if Occultist is cheaper, but Pathfinder is objectively better because Pathfinder means we can spec the small int node here, and that 40 int node is another multi-100 ES upgrade over 40 dex would be. So if we do Pathfinder, then we can go Occultist, and the reason we go Occultist is 1, stun immunity, permanent stun immunity just feels good. Regen feels good, curse effect, additional curse, all that feels good, and then additional curse means we don't have to anoint Whispers of Doom anymore, we can instead anoint Melding, and this anoint, when we grabbed it, was roughly, I think, 1500 to 2000 ES just on this anoint alone, because it's gained 3% life, which is huge when you have so much percent ES scaling and so much base life in your build. So that was the 4 changes: Cluster Jewel upgrade, Forbidden Flesh upgrade, a belt upgrade, and our Dune upgrade. Outside of that, most everything should still be the same as previously. I guess I started trying out Swift Affliction or Efficacy instead of Swift Affliction. Ideally, if I start wanting to go and just do bosses and I don't want to care about AoE, eventually I will probably upgrade out of Awakened Increased Area of Effect into Awakened Swift Affliction for max single target, but that'll be later on if I end up caring about the single target over AoE, say I'm trying to just do bosses. Now let's go ahead and give you a quick look at what this build looks like when we do a Uber Shaper, just give you an idea of the level of tankiness we are at, and we'll have it be Maven influenced as well. Now, this character, I'm really happy with how it's coming together. This is, however, one of my highest invested characters I've ever done. I've put a lot of time and grind into crafting my gear, and I think I've spent somewhere on the range of 200 to 225 divines. I think that's roughly my investment now. So if this is the character you're going to want to make, if you're going to buy everything, for 1, I don't think most of the items even exist on the market. And for 2, if you're going to want to, what's the word? If you're going to want to craft the gear yourself, it's a hard grind. You know, you have to do the Jorgen craft where you craft a bunch of the same amulet and you get a 1 out of 7 on Jorgen to get you a 3 rat for percent attributes. You're gonna have to grind on chancing yourself a Dune Quaver on top of the grind of getting yourself percent attributes on your scepter. By the way, you couldn't make this without chancing it because for whatever reason, percent attributes, 4% attributes cannot occur on scepters. You have to get it on a mace and then transfer it to a scepter. So it's something that's frankly impossible without chance orbs. You can't even do it if you're going to do it the make uniques and combine uniques method. You need to transfer it from a mace to a scepter and then bless orbit. So there's issues there, right? What else do we have to talk about that's a grind? Just most of the gear crafting in general, it's a grind, and it's not for the faint of heart. But at the same time, I love Righteous Fire. It's my favorite skill, and this is probably the most fun I've ever had doing a build in PoE, and that's why I've been willing to grind it out and continue to push it to its limit, and we're gonna keep doing that. Honestly, this isn't the last update I want to make to this character. I still have significant upgrades I can make. They're gonna be more expensive than the last upgrades. I'm taking them, you know, whatever upgrades at a time I do, and I'm working through that, but there is still a significant amount of upgrades that have to be or can be done. A good example is we can get 15% explicit on our Ivory Tower. That itself is like 2 to 3k ES upgrade. My ring is probably my weakest item right now. I didn't really craft this well, and I was originally doing it. I don't know at what point I was doing it, but it's honestly pretty weak, and we want to upgrade that. I am so enjoying this character that I am considering going to Vivid Vulture Prison. I'm considering making some S tier implicits for my build because of how much I like playing this character. So that's kind of where my headspace is at on this character in terms of min-maxing it, in terms of upgrading it, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the journey. My original goal when I made this character was to beat my previous max of a character that I got to about, I think it was 50 to 54,000. I can't remember exactly. I did it a while ago. It was a Guardian. I was cheesing certain mechanics. I can't 100% remember what they were. But let's go ahead and look at how we do against a boss fight like Uber Shaper here. I think I can probably just like stand in this degen ground. We have so much regen that it's just like It will affect how fast we recover or whatnot, but it shouldn't be the end of the world to stand in degens like this. And then we do Val Righteous Fire. He's slamming. It's not a big deal for us. We have so much ES, it doesn't even matter. I've had a lot of people comment on my videos and say, hey Lance, you have no mitigation, your build is paper. Turns out, if you have 10 times the base ES as any other build, or 10 times the base HP, like normally people do 5k life builds with a bunch of mitigation layers. Well, I have 10 times the HP you do, and I have over like 10 times the sustain. Turns out, you don't really need fizz reduction when you have 50,000 ES, right? So, please, if you're going to comment ZHP, think about it a little bit, do a little bit of basic math. In order for you to have the same level of mitigation I do, you need to be mitigating damage by 90% to have a 5k life be comparable to a 50k life. Just think about it a little bit before you comment, this is ZHP, whatever. I've seen a lot of those comments. It does annoy me a little bit because people just don't quite understand how the game works in terms of you don't need this specific damage mitigation to be tanky. There are other things you can scale, and scaling the hell out of your energy shield is one of those things you can do, and I hopefully am showcasing that here right now for you. But yeah, as for other upgrades to make to the character, I have explicit defense, good synth ring, a better helmet, better boots, believe it or not, a double corruption with percent life on my oh, what's it called, my Shaper's Touch. That would give us another 6% life if we got 6% plus 1 gem on our Shaper's Touch. I'll be doing a lot of double corrupting there. I'm gonna get a level 21 Righteous Fire instead of a level whatever it is that we have right now. Can we tank this? Yeah, we should tank this fine. Even though I popped out Righteous Fire at not a great time, it should work out fine for us. I could be a little bit more careful about this, but I don't think I will. I'm just going to keep standing here. It should be fine. Anyways, as I was saying, upgrades I want to make to the character. I, believe it or not, am considering doing synthesized implicits for my helmet, my ring, and my boots, which is like absolutely crazy, right? It's not something you should consider when you're trying to min-max or make a build. I don't know if I want to do double Shaper Balls. Shaper Balls are really deadly, but maybe we're fine. Are we fine? Yeah, we're mostly fine. As we push the character farther, we should be more fine with stuff like that as well. So we can continue to min-max past all that stuff. Alright. Should be close to phase. I should have tried to basically a little bit harder to damage him, but I was just getting lost in thought about upgrades I'm thinking about doing. A lot of them is synthoplicits, a lot of them are corruptions. My amulet I'd like to upgrade. There's a lot of ones I want to do. Don't vitality boon. Maven, what the hell? I'm trying to not make the showcase forever long. But it's okay. It's okay. Uber Chapin with Vitality Boon should be fine if I actually start trying to do damage to him and not just keep screwing around. I didn't realize it was a Maven with Vitality Boon. Otherwise, I would prioritize trying to do more single target instead of just talk about the build. But I digress. Anyways, we'll finish this Shaper up. I say all this stuff just to hopefully give you guys excitement or at least interest you in the progress of the build and what it's been. This is by far and away one of my most expensive characters, and I don't recommend it unless you have money to burn and you really love our Righteous Fire and you're going to enjoy the process of upgrading and making one of the best RF builds ever. This for me is by far and away the best Righteous Fire character I've ever made. It's not really close. The only thing that this character is really not min-max on in terms of RF is it doesn't do Righteous Fire bombing like my old builds did. That being said, if I scale the damage enough, it might end up getting to that point where it starts to feel like it's kind of explode, because we do have permanent uptime on where I ascend. And if I get certain more additional synth implicits like percent damage per strength on an amulet or percent damage per strength on boots, stuff like that could start making our explosions maybe chain explode even without igniting, which would be pretty hilarious, I think. But that is for future upgrades for us to make as we go through it. All right, let's finish up the Shaper, and then I will let you guys be on your merry way. Oh, he's gonna do probably one more immunity phase. We'll time a Valor F, and we should be able to close this thing out fine. I'll predict us having any issues with it. Okay, he's down here. Get my Valrighteous Fire soon. Any second now? Any second now? How's my Soul Ripper not up yet? This is amazing. Alright, there we go. There's my Valrighteous Fire. Valrighteous Fire is roughly around 4 times the damage. You can clearly see it when we have it versus when we don't. We deal crazy more DPS. And we're going to continue to push that. Obviously, we can continue to push DPS with more and more upgrades, and I am going to continue to do so because I really like this character, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed the progress as well. Anyways, thanks for watching. As always, Exiles, take care, and peace out.